Okay, hello, I'm Maddie, and this is going to be my psych final for developmental psych. And I did my project on how age affects elder development and the growing issue revolving elderly care in America. So what are we talking about? I chose elderly depression because I'm an EMT and I see a lot of it in healthcare. I see it every day, and it's just really, it gets to my heart because I love elderly people. I treat all my patients who are elderly like my own grandparents, and a lot of times these are the issues that are not only what I'm seeing but backed up by science. So a lack of social interaction and family support, the effect aging has on the body and the mind. Once you get past that 65 range, your reflexes become less sharp, you start forgetting things. Your body, the things you could do before, you might not be able to do now, and that can lead to a depression for some people. People without proper medical care or medication management, once you get to a certain age, it becomes hard to keep up with those things. It can become hard to remember, it can become hard to access it and get it. A lot of these people aren't getting proper medication or health care because they're just simply not equipped to do it. Elder neglect or elder abuse, that's something I see a lot in my career. It breaks my heart. We need to do better as a whole country with that. I see a lot of people who just are living in conditions that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And again, that's not just backed by me. Elder abuse is very, very common. It even says it in the developmental lifespans. It's very, very common, and it can be a main contributor to elderly depression and developmental decline. Limited mobility or new disability. So as you age, your body ages with you, your mind ages with you, you become susceptible to sickness, chronic disease, chronic disabilities. Older people are subjected to arthritis, osteoporosis, dementia, Parkinson's, stuff like that. It becomes more common the older you get, and that can be a really hard thing to adjust to. Inability to do activities of daily living on one's own. So independence is a huge thing they teach you in healthcare when you're taking care of somebody who's geriatric. Anything they can do by themselves, you want to let them do by themselves, because that could be all they have left. Even just washing their hair or, brushing their teeth, all that stuff becomes important when you get to a point where you can't really do all that stuff by yourself anymore and you have to have somebody come and do it for you. It can feel degrading, and that can also contribute to elderly depression and feeling like you're incapable, and that's something we need to work on. So what does this relate to? This is a significant topic to anyone who works in healthcare, corporate companies, and older adults. So healthcare workers, obviously, they take care of a significant amount of elderly populations. They provide, what sometimes is like life-saving care. Like, even if an elderly person just calls us and they just want to go to the hospital because they have no one else to take care of them, or they've had a couple falls in the last few days. Healthcare is a huge backbone on the elderly, and that's why it's important for all healthcare workers to be educated on this kind of issue and contribute to honoring our elderly population the best we can. Corporate companies, I say this because a lot of restaurants, a lot of malls, a lot of places, even like the post office, it's harder for elderly people to go and do these tasks, even if they want to go shopping. Or I feel like there should be greater accommodations for the elderly population, and corporate companies, I feel like, don't do a good enough job of providing that. Older adults, everyone who is in their 40s and still has their parents, needs to consider the fact that, their parents are probably getting to the point where they're starting to age. And when that happens, a lot of people panic, a lot of people really don't know what to do, or they have never taken care of anybody in their life. So it's important that we educate our older adults